An optocoupler, also known as an optical coupler, is a device that allows the transmission of electrical signals between two isolated circuits. Its operation is based on activating and deactivating its internal circuit through voltage, using internally generated light signals that will internally activate a transistor or electronic switch, allowing current to flow to some application, usually at higher voltage. The typical optocoupler has 4 pins, of which 2 are used for its power supply, with 1 positive pin and 1 negative pin, and the 2 remaining pins communicate internally when the optocoupler is correctly powered with voltage. Otherwise, the output pins will be disconnected. Let's look at the most common areas where you might find an optocoupler on an air conditioning board. 1. Control circuit. Optocouplers are used to electrically isolate the control stage, which may operate at low voltage, from the power stage, which operates at a higher voltage. For example, in the switch mode power supply on the electronic board, you can find an optocoupler that receives signals from a controller to activate a circuit that generates higher voltage. You can find an optocoupler to control, for example, the triac, which controls the speed of the fan or internal unit fan of the air conditioner. 2. Optocouplers can be found in the communication circuit between the internal and external units of the air conditioner. In split air conditioning systems, with indoor and outdoor units, optocouplers can be used to transmit signals between these two units without a direct electrical connection. For example, the electronic board of the indoor unit could use an optocoupler to communicate with the outdoor unit. Now let's look at the procedure for testing an optocoupler. A key aspect of understanding how to test these components in the circuit is to understand the voltage drop across an LED. Unlike a normal diode, which has a drop of approximately 0.7 volts, an LED has a drop of around 1.1 volts, although this may vary slightly depending on the manufacturer and device specifications. A. To test an optocoupler in the circuit, we apply voltage to the LED and observe if the optocoupler is activated on its other 2 pins. B. To power the optocoupler, we can preferably use a multimeter in the diode scale, identify the optocoupler's power pins, and place the positive probe of the multimeter on the positive pin of the optocoupler, and the negative probe of the multimeter on the negative pin. That way, we are energizing the optocoupler. C. Simultaneously, with another multimeter in the continuity scale, while supplying voltage to the optocoupler, continuity should be measured on the other 2 remaining pins. D. If you only have one multimeter, you can power the optocoupler directly on the power pins using a 1.5 volt battery, and likewise check with the multimeter if when powering the optocoupler, there is continuity in the 2 remaining pins.